If you look at the headlines right now, the battle for the future appears to be happening inside a text box. We spend our time debating whether ChatGPT, Gemini, or Claude writes the best email or generates the smartest code. But arguing over which algorithm is more articulate ignores the physical weight of these systems. The code you interact with on your screen is a lightweight layer resting on thousands of tons of concrete, copper, and custom silicon. The entities fighting for global dominance today are focused on a different metric. They are fighting to control the raw, finite physical infrastructure that keeps these models breathing. Macro analyst Raoul Pal maps this shift by looking at the capital. He identifies our current era as the exponential century, the largest capital investment cycle in human history. Look at this framework. Survival depends on three pillars: artificial intelligence, compute power, and the raw energy grid. If a nation loses access to even one, its economy begins to atrophy. Without AI-driven production, they can no longer compete. This risk has pulled AI out of the realm of Silicon Valley innovation and into the world of state-level defense. The pursuit of these three resources now dictates the moves of global superpowers. While software can be copied instantly, the hardware required to train it is trapped by geography. The infinite demand for AI has crashed into a ceiling of finite physical supply. You can see the choke point right here. The global supply of DRAM memory and ASIC chips, custom processors built for specific AI tasks, is controlled by an oligopoly: Micron, SK Hynix, and Samsung. Because these components are so scarce, nations are using export bans and trade restrictions to hoard them. To avoid being cut off by a foreign embargo, superpowers are withdrawing into isolated domestic technological loops, effectively ending the era of a single, borderless internet. Custom silicon hardware has become the definitive fault line cleaving the global supply chain in half. The United States secures its side of this divide through a system of open market alliances and massive corporate scale. This network shows the structure. A coalition of hardware and software giants, NVIDIA, Microsoft, and Apple, partners with architects of scale like Google and Oracle. Together, they build the data safes and high-speed highways that allow AI models to function. In this ecosystem, performance is the only currency. When Google needed to build its custom TPU chip, they chose MediaTek over Broadcom because MediaTek could deliver a proven 336 gigabit connection today rather than a theoretical promise for tomorrow. This is network sovereignty. It treats AI as highly capable corporate-hired labor, supported by a decentralized and competitive infrastructure. China follows a different blueprint. They integrate AI directly into the state's central nervous system, treating it exactly like the national power grid. Domestic tech champions like Huawei and Alibaba are tasked with building what the state calls a fortress, a technological loop that can survive in total isolation. To protect this fortress, Beijing restricts foreign access to domestic models like Qwen. They are sealing their intellectual property inside their borders to ensure their data isn't used to train rival systems. This diagram shows their vertical integration. They connect homegrown silicon, like Huawei's Ascend processors, directly to their own software, creating a closed circuit. This is industrial sovereignty, a technological ecosystem designed to operate with absolute independence from the Western world. We are watching the real-time decoupling of the global tech economy into two parallel universes. In this paradigm, supply chain security outweighs market share. Having the most popular chatbot matters less than having the components to keep it running during a crisis. Global standing is now a measure of how much of the production chain a nation can physically control within its own borders. We can map the specific links of this chain. Power moves from the raw energy grid, flows into custom compute hardware, and finally activates the intelligence model. The entity that engineers the shortest physical distance between a power plant and an AI model dictates geopolitical dominance for the next century. The incentive structures that once governed the global tech industry have dissolved. We can no longer evaluate these companies through the lens of traditional software. That is why we built BIS, the Big Intelligence Slice. We track the raw hardware constraints and data logistics that are actually driving this shift. In the exponential century, the race for artificial intelligence has merged with the race for national sovereignty. Join BIS to see past the marketing slogans and understand who is actually winning the divided chip war.